Now, carrying over from our awesome interview last night from Matt Hockin from the Rural Innovation Lab, that this is the time that we can really see innovation boom in lockdown. And of course, what organisation better to foster that and demonstrate it than the annual event renowned for celebrating it on our rural calendar? Of course, that is Fieldays at Mystery Creek. The virtual Fieldays will have a purpose-built hub where people can go online and search for products in July. But not everyone's so keen. So we've got CEO for Fieldays, Peter Nation, with me. Peter, firstly, I know that you're an extremely busy man and the thought of board games wouldn't even be on your radar at the moment, but there'd be something right from your childhood that you remember that you love playing.
Yeah, hi Sarah. There is actually. I used to play a bit of Monopoly, but I also used to play a lot of Battleships, which
Yes,
you don't see that game around much anymore, and probably it's electronic now. But that was a really fun game to play because it was a bit of strategy and a bit of thinking and a bit of body language, so it was really good.
Oh, certainly what you've been navigating in the last wee while is a bit of strategy, Peter. So, hey, Peter, I have to talk. We're going to do a bit of a positive sandwich with this interview. We want to celebrate the great things that you're doing, but we need to address some of the concerns with some of your exhibitors as well. So let's start by celebrating what you're releasing with a virtual online hub. Can you tell us all how it will work and when it will be online?
Yeah, I guess 4 weeks ago we were faced, like a lot of people, with having to postpone our main event, which would have started on the 10th of June, and that was 87 days out from the event. 5 weeks on, the team have done a really great job at, I think the new word's pivot strategy. Everyone's talking about pivoting, but we pivoted and we've put together, and in the throes of putting together a new virtual Fieldays platform. It's getting really good feedback from a lot of people. We understand it's not for everybody, but we saw that there was a gap in the market in June, Sarah, and that there was a need for something to be stood up, particularly for our exhibitors, but also the many customers that come to Fieldays annually anyway.
You do get a wide range of exhibitors there, from your very large sites with, of course, machinery on display, through to the smaller seminars and expos sites. So how do you really cater for all of those different types of needs of people wanting to interact with their products and services online?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And as I said before, the virtual site won't be for everybody, but the feedback we've had already from a lot to the very biggest has been really positive. It's never really going to replace the face-to-face and that human contact. But, a lot of us now, even during lockdown, are getting very used to shopping online and having virtual conversations or chat rooms with our power companies and all those sorts of people. So it's very much becoming part of our lives. So we're looking at replicating, obviously, the commerce site, but also the ability for exhibitors to show off new technology and innovation. A lot of them are very mature in their digital sites anyway, so it's about bringing all that together, allowing then the customer to be able to search by product or category, and then also obviously getting specials, deals, interacting with salespeople, blogging, competitions, all those things. The thing with virtual, though, it has another major bonus for the New Zealand market. A virtual site obviously has no boundaries within Mystery Creek, so then it becomes a worldwide platform. So we can reach a much bigger audience than what we would normally with 130,000 people coming to the event. But more importantly, we can take New Zealand technology and innovation to the world through that virtual platform.
Well, that's great. I think I'd like to see something like that continue, probably coinciding with the existing physical event potentially going into the future. So, of course, it's not, like, as you said, for everyone. And those large manufacturing and tractor sites, I understand TAMA, which is the Tractor and Machinery Association, surveyed its members. 90% of them didn't have any interest in participating in that. And you can probably understand physically, not so easy. But down to the small exhibitors, Peter, it's all well and good to say there's a waiting list and know that Fieldays is extremely popular. But for people to have to, fork out like $4,000 for their site and not potentially get that back at this time when their business is suffering. How have you been able to navigate and make those tough decisions to only refund 3/4 of their site if they didn't want to participate in this online? version?
I guess number one is we never said we wouldn't refund. As I said at the beginning of the interview, we're 4 weeks into what was probably a major crisis for everybody, and we've got a business to run ourselves. So we've spent quite a bit of time looking at that and restructuring it people-wise and everything else, and then obviously looking at alternatives as far as the virtual field days goes, and then dealing with the customers, 1,100 of them, and navigating our way through that, because we've given them some choices. If they don't want to participate, yes, they'll get a refund. They'll get a refund of 80% of their fee. We've sunk a lot of costs into the event leading up to it. As I said, we were 87 days out, and our terms and conditions are reasonably clear. And then we've given them a choice to go virtual, or we've given them a choice to leave a credit with us, and a number are choosing to do that as well, because when we run our next event, obviously they'll have money with us ready to go. So there's clear choices. We're working through those 1,100 exhibitors. There's a lot of them, but we're dealing with them individually and allowing them to come to our salespeople as well and work through their choices.
Absolutely, 100% understand that, of course, Field Days is a major business and, of course, contributes substantially to our economy. Let's finish on a positive note. What are some of those really important things that are quintessential to Field Days that we're really going to miss out on? I mean, your health hub, for instance, checks on the health of so many people once a year, as well as, of course, the networking face-to-face with international interest. And not to mention, of course, the Innovation Awards.
Yeah, I guess I haven't said we're not going to do that virtually either. So our priority to start with, Sarah, was to get the commercial platform in place, because we know that's important to exhibitors. It's really important to keep that supply chain open and allow those exhibitors, a number of who have indented stock ready for that June event, and a number who don't have digital platforms that'll enjoy this opportunity. And then we'll start looking at how we might build some of the other pieces. Now, you mentioned the Health and Wellbeing Hub. Last year we had over 20,000 people come to that. With it not being in June, that's 20,000 people that haven't touched a medical person as far as advice and support goes. I think we all know in the rural arena at the moment they're probably more isolated than they've ever been. There's no reps driving up and down drives and things. So I personally think that there's an opportunity there. The innovations, we're working through that and how that might look like. And the international trade piece, as I said earlier, the ability to actually open those borders up virtually. Most people would say or would agree that the borders aren't going to be open in a hurry between New Zealand and the rest of the world from a physical trade and visitation process. So for us to be able to open up those international relationships virtually, I think will be a huge bonus for the New Zealand primary sector, and from a trusted platform, I think would go really well.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much. And if you can get on between in July, I've got the dates again. I'll just clarify that. 13th of July through to the 26th of the July, the virtual field days will be online, and I'm sure there'll be some substantial marketing around how that will be displayed and how you can participate. That's Peter Nation, the CEO of Field Days.
This is Sarah's Country.